And welcome to another episode of More Than Dice. I'm Gonzo.
I'm eating pizza.
That's John, and Kathy hasn't gotten back just yet. Guys, welcome to an episode of us having a good old hobby time. We're going to be working on hobby projects, discussing painting, working on stuff. Kathy's going to be working on a few models that I printed for her. I am going to be painting up part of the Guardians of the Galaxy, namely Groot and Rocket for MCP. John is going to sit there and take donations and libations as he looks over at whatever he's going to be drinking for the night. And just try to have a chill time, relax, and, hang out with each other. What the topic's going to be, I'm going to let John drive that.
Yeah. Oh,
The topic is how much I love Hawaiian pizza.
I want pizza.
I had pizza this afternoon too, so let's go ahead and get our business out of the way. We want to thank all of our sponsors, Dan from Tectonic Craft Studios, for providing the giveaway tonight. And also, John, that's what you do need to remind me, is at the media section time, please, if you could. And we want to thank Creature Caster for, of course, being awesome and sponsoring us. Guys, go check out all their paints. I'm starting to use them, and I'm really liking them. Also, Metalhead Minis. Lynn, our great and awesome friend. She should have some links up for us pretty soon of some products we're selling. If you like some of their stuff, go check her out. Also, if you need some models painted, you can go check her out too. And, of course, Muse on Minis. I want to thank them for supporting the podcast, bringing everything together, and shoving it down people's throats so they'll listen to it.
That seems extreme.
So let's go ahead and go.
Maybe a touch.
Let's go with John. John, what are you drinking tonight? No, you're eating pizza. You don't drink pizza. You drink a pizza?
John's mouth is full, he said.
So,
Could you not hear that?
I'm to talk with my mouth full, so I'm trying not to. But Gonzo's apparently hell-bent on that.
And here I was, mouth totally free.
Yeah.
I'm drinking a gin and tonic.
Hey, Kathy's already given hers.
She wasn't eating a piece of pizza, because I don't want to drink it in the stomach,
wait,
because
let
that
me
ends
speak
poorly.
now. You finished chewing. So, I am drinking a gin and tonic tonight. My gin is Bombay Sapphire.
Oh, Bombay Sapphire. That's good gin.
Does that give you enough time to...
Oh, yeah, I'm good, actually. I had squirreled it for a second while I was talking. I just hate doing that.
How Boop is having
a little
sake?
jealous you're having sake. Is it warm sake? Because warm
Oh,
sake is the best.
Yeah, warm is better.
I tell you, when they open the restaurants up fully around here, I am going to get a crew together. We're going to go to Sakura, which is the Japanese steakhouse, so they grow it out in front of you. I'm going to have a fucking great time. And I'm going to have like 2 whole things of sake. And someone's driving me home, probably Banyan. But I am drinking now, so...
And what are you drinking?
Story time. I found an alternate Dr. Pepper I hadn't tried before, so I figured, I like Dr. Pepper, I'll give it a shot. So it's Dr. Pepper and cream soda mixed together. I'm like, that sounds like that could be great, doesn't it?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's not.
Oh.
It is the blandest bland that ever did bland in soda form.
So the cream soda kind of just neutralizes the...
You can tell hints of them, but neither one is strong. You don't get any strong flavor from it.
Mm-hmm.
It's very inoffensive and not really what I want.
Did you try, it had to have been like 10 years ago now, I think. Dr. Pepper put out a cherry chocolate.
Ooh.
I did, I think, yes.
The cherry chocolate. Oh my god, I loved that one. It didn't last, though. I absolutely loved it.
But I'll be telling you guys shortly how this tastes mixed with crack and rum.
Oh.
Because
Okay.
it's mix it with crack and rum, or mix it with vodka. That vodka sounds terrible. Or mix it with, old smoky apple pie moonshine. That sounds more terrible. Or mix it with limoncello, which sounds even the next level of more terrible.
Ooh.
So crack and rum it is.
Right? Okay.
Gonzo, what are you drinking?
I am actually, which I haven't been doing very well lately, is drinking. I am drinking water because
You haven't been drinking it very well?
No, I haven't been.
Glass to lips.
Yeah, take it to the mouth. Orally is the best way to take water.
Yeah.
Or IV, I mean, really.
I
IV
haven't drank
works
a lot
too,
of
but
water
there's a little
lately.
extra work to that. I mean, any other orphans do not take the water through their orifices. It is not recommended.
I mean, it's not bad. It just doesn't hydrate you, really.
I mean,
I don't know. Maybe it does. Honestly, I don't know. I'm not a
certain
doctor.
orifices it has some benefits, but let's just say nasally is the worst possible way to take water.
Not according to people who use neti pots.
Well, some people are crazy. Who really need their nose flushed. I'm not one of those people. I do not like breathing water. I am not Aquaman. I cannot breathe water. There you go.
Birch beer. Ooh, yum. I love that. When I was in Maryland, we used to do our laundry at this coin-operated laundry that was right next to a pizza place. And so when the clothes were in the dryer, we would get pizza and birch beer, and it was such a good combination.
I feel like many of them are actually like, because I'm like, when I lived in that apartment, the coin-operated laundromat was right next to the pizza place.
Yeah.
Seems like a good combo.
In my neighborhood, it's right next to a Chinese takeaway place.
That's another good combo.
And right next to that is a Subway, so if I'm not feeling like Chinese takeaway, Subway.
Yeah, well, the one I went to, there was a pizza place, then there was the donut shop that was only open on Sundays. Sundays is when I did my laundry, and then, or weekdays, but they're open early on Sundays, and then McDonald's, so I had fair choices, and all walking distance, which is good. Any case, I think we're ready to salute. That shit is shot very well.
Guys, please protect yourself out there. Please be safe. Look out for each other, and we want to see you back. Cheers.
Stay safe, everybody. Cheers.
I'm going to switch over to my paint cam so I can get that out of the way. So I can work on some Groot action.
Is it paint cam time?
Yeah. You can switch over to your paint cam.
I mean, if you want to.
Don't have to.
There's no requirement.
I feel like I'm being
the
pressured.
only requirement tonight is for everybody
You feel
to get
like
some
you're
hobby
being
doing.
pressured?
I mean, peer pressure.
Peer.
No, free choice. Remember? We talked about this earlier.
Trying to find.
The light from behind is not very good on that. Move that there. I don't know if it's showing up on camera. Yeah, there we go. Oh, no. Cancel.
Do a test of paint.
Oh, that didn't work. There we go.
Did it work that time?
Hooray!
There you go. You get an upper view. I can change it a little bit, I think. Did I turn you on yet? Did not.
Did I turn you on yet?
Wow. So we're gonna go
That just went way off.
have multiple
Sorry
lights.
for laughing in
I wasn't
everyone's
sure if I
ears.
put them all on.
That was great, actually, Kathy.
I'm gonna hit. Get out of my way. All right, we're gonna move this guy over here.
That was really good.
This thing needs a better attachment point. I might need a new light.
That's what she said.
All right. If you're all just gonna be childlike, I'm gonna leave.
I am going to be utterly childlike, but I would like you to stay because I love you. Legionnaires, oh my.
Well, I'm just trying to get a good, more frontal view with my camera.
Okay.
I guess that's something.
I'll just put some up on the tee and I'm just going to bat them.
I mean, I did pop that up. I expected at some point to spike it, but...
Yeah, you did.
How's everything looking, guys? Make sure, just check us out. I need to bring my iPad back in here so I can watch the chat while we do this.
Well, I need to bring my my next set of eyes on, because...
Oh.
Alright.
I guess I get my eyeglasses on, too. John, what are you be working on today, by the way?
I mean, it's right there on camera.
The hell?
I mean, if anyone hasn't been following Hobby Street, it's not like it's really a surprise. All the models I'm working on are actually right there in view, I think more or less. I got Amanozaki here who still needs some work. I got the dwarf you sent me. I got 2 Battletech models over here. I got the Hulk, I got the Vision, and I got Star-Lord.
Vision, Vision looked like he was almost done.
It could be almost done. Just depends on how much work I want to do. I do need to hit some touch-ups again. I just did the brighter red last night. It definitely helps him pop a bit, but it's going to need a wash. And probably want to wash it before I go and touch up everything else. He's going to be a giant pain in the ass.
Well, just don't wash him. He looks nice and bright right now. Wash will just dull that down a little.
Yeah, but he's got no
Shading?
definition. He doesn't have a good shading. So, and I don't want to go too much higher with the red because it's going to be a pain in the ass to have to keep it between the lines and work. So we'll see. I might do a little bit of wash, then do some tiny highlights to get the parts that need to be raised again.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you do. And then Star-Lord's coming along. I've been working on his rocket exhaust. Just trying to get that to come through. And then basics on the coat and everything. Just deciding how I want everything to be. He's got a slightly different costume than his movie costume because it's a little cross between movie and comic in this case.
Mm-hmm.
Then the Hulk, the Hulk is the Hulk. I've been waiting for the Warp Lightning contrast paint. And,
which you now have, right?
Yeah, and it looks like it did an okay job.
Oh, is it still drying?
Oh, it's dry. A couple points where it definitely pulled up a little bit, which is a problem.
Oh, yeah. That happens. That happens with that.
Yeah, so I'm going to have to see if I'm painting highlights on or if I'm going to do a heavy dry brush. Actually, I'm probably going to have to do some fixing because these are pretty rough. You can tell right there in the back there. I don't know how well you can see it on the camera, but there's a big glob there. I need to do something with it. It is noticeable.
It's always unfortunate. That's the risk with the contrast paints. If you can predict where it's going to pull and sop it up a little bit, but sometimes you just miss it.
Yeah, you want it to be a little pooly, but not a lot of pooly.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little too pooly. But honestly, I have hobby knife. We'll fix. Just fix it up there, and then a little bit mortar in the front. I don't generally mind if it pulled a little bit and discolors it because you can fix it, unless it actually makes it textured. That it pulls so much that there's texture there.
Mm-hmm.
Then you need to get rid of it. And I'm gonna try and stay in camera more or less, but no guarantees.
Okay.
That's fine.
Kathy, what are you working on?
Completely out of camera. Hold on.
I am priming these warp gates.
Are you gonna be able to start painting them today, or is the prime gonna take
I'm
two?
gonna let them dry. Oh, I can start painting them, but in the meantime, I have a few other things here that I can work on while the primer is drying. But it shouldn't take too long for it to dry. And this is the Badger Steindl Res primer that I'm just brushing on. I know it's an airbrush primer, but I always use it as a brush-on primer for everything. If it isn't a model that Jim has handed to me that he airbrush primed with it. But usually it's just me brushing it on with a regular brush, and it works fantastic.
I know a lot of people that use it like that, not just airbrushing, but will just paint it on, especially if it's just one single small model.
There's more than just white and black and gray. There's like all these other colors that they make it in, and that's what I like about it. If you're painting something that's predominantly flesh, you could go ahead and find, they have this ebony color, which is a good base for a dark flesh tone. They have this dusty rose, which might be a good base for a lighter flesh tone. They have a light green primer, which is good if you want to do that Vertecchio kind of a technique where you start out with a little bit of green and work your flesh tones up from that, which some people like to do.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think 1 year, like 2 years ago at Adepticon, I got that little small trial bottle of that green, and I have a friend of mine that was doing military vehicles and such, and I was like, here, why don't you have this? I gave him that bottle of small green.
I have 2 bottles of that I got in swag bags at Adepticon. I have a bunch of free samples that I picked up because, they just give them away at the Badger booth too, at different conventions and stuff. And so I have a couple of the green. I have one of yellow, and I'm not sure if the yellow is still being made, but I also, I learned to love the terracotta one so much that I have the giant bottle of that. Actually went and bought the giant bottle of that one. And I have the ebony, which is that dark brown color. But also, if you mix the terracotta with black, it makes it another different, more reddish dark brown color.
That's cool.
So yeah, I like to mix them. And also with the white, I'll tint it with just a little bit of a paint color too, to get a little bit of a primer paint going, and that can be fun as well when you're just starting and you just want maybe a slightly different color that's kind of an off-white, or I've added a little bit of terracotta to it. It ends up making this sort of salmon paint color, which I used to paint all my when I was painting the half-naked Celt models from Confrontation. They had a lot of skin showing, so that was kind of the perfect thing to prime them with.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yep. Sometimes people.
Oh, Gonzo is painting Groot. And hey, Risden Designs, how are you?
Sometimes people forget that there's other colors other than black and white, and then maybe gray to prime with.
Crimson is finishing up gun mages and converting stuff.
All right. Well, got so Hulk had a big bit here. I had to end up losing a bunch of paint there, but honestly, you can barely tell after the primer. So when I hit that with paints again, it'll be fine. Luckily, as I joked, I mean, I don't really need Hulk to be great because I'm going to use a proxy for him anyways, but he was there. I might as well paint him. All right.
So if you were Legionnaires, if you were painting a Warhammer Underworlds warband, which one would it be?
The one with the giant ogre.
I would love to do that. Somebody just send me that warband. I love ogres.
Yeah, I know. I love the big guys too. So whenever I see something model like that, and some of those models, just so good. Like, there's some I'm probably just gonna end up buying just for the fact that I can paint them, like the Ogre Thaumaturge from the Chaosy guy, Age of Sigmar. That model's just so cool. I mean, like, I really want to paint one.
The ogre one is the one you don't have, Legionnaires?
The one you don't have.
Well then. I don't have any for Underworld. Oh wait, I take that back. Of the Eyes of the Nine.
Yeah, I've got the undead
right?
one.
I got that in my Adepticon swag bag my friend gave it to me because he had it in his VIG bag last year, and he was like, I'm never going to use this, so here. And they're still in the box. I haven't painted them yet. Actually, they're very Zinchi, so I feel like Jim probably should have the honor because he loves Zinch. He's the Zinch guy in the family. I'm the Nurgle one.
He likes the Tiznatch?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have all 3 of the Sigmar ones. No shock, especially since 2 of them come in the box sets, and I have 2 of the box sets. I have the other ones that came in the box sets, the Cornate ones and the Undead ones from the second box set. And then I bought Mollog's crew because Mollog is a troll that I can use in my Age of Sigmar army, so I bought him and used him in my Age of Sigmar army.
Legionnaires of Skeletal Undead. I can't remember their name. I painted those on stream too. Those were my red skeletons that I did. That Kathy was like, why don't you do them with red bones? I'm like, okay, sounds good.
I remember that.
They came out pretty well.
Yeah.
They had a good color onto them. That red really got a good color
the
going.
Ghost Undead are pretty models too, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have those guys. I think they came in the second box set. And then I have hold on, Ripa's Snarl Fangs.
Aw.
They're still being painted. They're still being assembled on my other part of my desk.
You don't have like one desk that you do everything, or do you have like sections on your desk?
I have sections. So the part you're looking at now is the left-hand side of my desk, which is the painting section. The right-hand side of my desk, the other part of the L, so to speak, is where my assembly station is currently. And then the central portion, the sort of where the L meets, is where my computer is. One desk
On
to
my desk? One desk to what? Rule them all.
rule them all, yeah.
In front of me, I have all my Reaper Clear paints, which is basically all the paints that I seem to be capable of using. Except for the Secret Weapon Rust colors, because...
That sounds like you're calling yourself out on that, jeez.
Oh, I am. Last Tuesday, I decided, because I was painting something... I was painting this ogre guy. I mean, it's not like... I don't even know who makes this. Some ogre dude. Anyways, I was painting this all of last week, and when I started, I decided, well, hey, I have these monument paints sitting here next to me, and I haven't really played with them at all, and I put some on the palette, and this is after weeks of my limited palette experiment where I only used, for the elf bust, I used phthalo green, clear red, clear magenta, clear yellow, and white. I used 4 different clear colors plus white, and that's all I used on the elf bust. And when these monument paints came out on my palette, I didn't know what to do with them. I was looking at them, and I'm like, I don't even know where to start. And to just cause this sort of my brain seized up.
Analysis paralysis. Too many options.
And I went back to, I just put a couple of my more familiar clear colors out on the palette, and then I was able to mix things from that and stuff. But it was such a weird feeling, because also the pro acryls are very opaque, which a lot of people really like because their painting style is facilitated by that, which is fantastic. But my painting style is facilitated by translucent paints, which actually the monument transparent paints are fantastic for that, and the Reaper Clears are, and the Secret Weapon weathering paints, that set, are good for that. So, I mean, that's what I have in front of me, and I just kind of, it's know your limitation, I guess. I know my limitation is I seem to not be able to use more opaque paints very well. So
Apparently, I totally forgot to paint the bottoms of his legs the brighter red when I did the rest of him.
which guy? Vision?
Back here behind his cape.
Oh, well, they're in shadow, right? And besides, his cape is reflecting the light of the green cape onto his calves, so it would dull it down. See, think of it like that.
Nope, painted it.
Or that.
I mean, it's one of those ones where you don't have to be super good. That and the wash will do a good job. But, man. Alright, let's see how that's going to look with Will.
Warhammer Underworlds gets the vote. Well, they do make some pretty awesome models.
Oh yeah, those models are really good.
This dark green is probably the worst.
Which dark green is that?
It ended up using Caliban green, I think.
Okay.
It's just I can't get a green. I think honestly at this point, maybe the weather has made some of these paints a little chonky when they're on the model, so it's pissing me off too.
You guys, I just opened my palette. I had it opened when I first started priming the warp gates, right? Remember I was telling you how sometimes the primer spatters, and I moved my guy that I'm painting out of the way, knowing that. And I just opened my palette, and there's all these little white speckles on the palette right there. And so that made me extra glad that I remembered to move my model that's halfway done out of the way so that I didn't speckle that thing with tiny white dots.
Yep.
So remember to wash his back legs when I'm done. Let that dry. Now, I probably should be switching to my wet palette because it's so hot out. Like, it is rough right now.
Oh yeah, it is here. I had to change my shirt when we at 7 when we took our break. I was dying in here. I'm like, oh my god, it's so hot. All the rest of the day it was cold. What?
Look, I'm on camera and wearing shorts, not just boxers. Laugh, but man, makes it easier. Plus, I mean, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights right here, plus a monitor, so it gets hot right now.
That's probably why it's warmer here now.
And I'm sure I might be able to find some more efficient lighting system, but that requires buying more lights, and I'm not about buying more lights right this moment. Let's make sure I'm in focus more or less. Okay, looks good. That's too much.
I'm going to use more of this dark color that I mixed up out of
That's too watery. That's alright, it'll be fine.
A bunch of different colors. I can't believe this color is still viable. I've had this sitting in this bottle cap, covered up by a larger bottle cap on my wet palette for like 2.5 weeks. This color. And it's just in a bottle cap, covered up by a bottle cap, sitting on my wet palette. So it's like a mini wet palette inside my wet palette.
Yo, dog, I heard you like wet palettes. So I put a wet palette in your wet palette.
Yeah.
Now I'm knocking all these guys over.
I'm telling you, though, it works. All these colors I used on my suzerain are still viable because of that. There, I'll show you. Well, you can see it.
Yep. Sorry, let me get my magnifying ones out of the way. Sorry, I got the magnifying head thing on because once you start using that to paint detail, your eyes are like, oh no, you're not going to go back to just glasses. No, motherfucker, that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
You put that thing back on.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
It is so good. I mean, you can laugh. It's even got a light on it if you need it. I mean, it's really, really kind of nice. The hardest thing is that sometimes the lenses get a little streaky or whatever from whatever, touching them or whatever.
Oh yeah, fingerprints, dust, whatever, yeah, it happens.
Plus it likes to reflect a little bit my glasses in it, so it gets a little weird at certain angles.
Oh yeah, it would be weird.
But it does help quite a bit. Alright. So I did dark, so I need next level of gray for smoke.
Hey, Kathy, did Joe get any D&D this week?
No.
I was wondering if y'all got together on Discord or whatever, and
We our GM was still feeling a bit under the weather. He had pneumonia, and I mean not COVID related anything, but he had pneumonia, and so yeah, he was feeling exhausted, and I don't blame him.
No,
because that's what happens when you have pneumonia. I'm like, dude, you're recovering from pneumonia. I think we can all agree that you should probably rest.
Yeah, give you a little pass there, sir. A little pass. We're theoretically playing tomorrow.
Oh, your Traveler game?
Yes.
How's that going, by the way? Nobody died so far?
I mean, one of the passengers on the ship we're on who made the mistake of fucking with one of our Marines might die. She don't play. She went straight for the claws. And I went straight for high dice rolling to do cool things.
That seems fair.
Well, I'm not really good in unarmed combat. That's not my thing. I am a computers guy. I mean, they want to give me a beating. I'll take the beating, and then I'm going to ruin their credit rating forever. We're going to meet alien species no one's ever seen before, and they're going to know that these fuckers have no good credit.
I love it.
That's how much I'm going to fuck up their credit rating.
It'll be a historical note. A million years from now, people know, oh, those are those fuckers that had no credit, huh? They fucked up hard. Trying to get...
Bad credit? No credit?
Oh, no. Those people will be like, oh, no. We can't help you guys. You guys done fucked up, you did.
Oh, who are you pissed off? Oh, yeah.
That's always my joke for anyone. Like, oh, really? Because, like, my computer rolls have all been, like, retarded. That and, like, when we're at a spaceport and I'm like, I just want to see, you know, who's covering what exits, what security looks like. Because I have recon at the highest level. So I'm basically, like, the sci-fi equivalent of Aragorn when it comes to that shit. You know, tracking people, like, there were 2 hobbits, they crawled this way, they're alive. Like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? Like, apparently that's what that does.
You become Legolas.
Actually, it was Aragorn.
Was it Aragorn that did it?
That was Aragorn. He's the ranger, for Christ's sakes. He is
it?
the epitome of rangers. The
Yes,
reason
he
rangers
is.
have the abilities they have in D&D is because of Aragorn.
Yeah, I couldn't remember it was him or Legolas that did it. I'm picturing the scene. I'm just like,
Oh, so I'm working on the smoke on his. Luckily, I have experience working on this smoke from Modoc's rocket exhaust.
Mm-hmm.
So
Turned out well.
okay.
did y'all see? I don't know if you're on the page or not, or whatever. That someone did the Elvis Modoc.
Yes,
Yes, that was really good.
it was very good. Well, someone else, I don't know if you saw, someone was like, I think I talked about it last week, like someone was talking about their Modoc conversion they want to do. I'm like, I don't know where this came from, but I fully support it. Like,
Oh, yeah.
like Pirate Modoc, I think it was?
Yep, a pirate
Yeah.
one.
I was like, well, I mean, yes,
Do it.
do that. Why would you need other people's approval? It's amazing.
It's like if someone's like, oh, I want to paint my Hulk in a different paint scheme. Do it!
It's your model.
You
Go
want pink
nuts.
Hulk? Do pink Hulk. Fuck, I don't care.
Paisley Hulk, Tartan Hulk.
Let Hulk.
Tartan Hulk's a bit much.
Shut up.
Now, if you want to do
Oh,
his pants in tartan, that is... No. Oh, no.
Wait,
Kathy,
who?
Kathy,
What?
you're going to take a Hulk, we're going to sculpt the kilt on him.
I can do that. I
Tell
can
me
do,
that is
like,
not perfect for the Hulk.
great kilt, like, you know, like Braveheart level great kilt.
So,
Hulk.
like,
I absolutely
he's actually
can do
set
that.
up for a kilt with the pose he's in, too. I mean, you
Send me a Hulk and I'll do that.
All right, I'm see what I can do about that.
You heard it here first. Kathy will put a
Note. Send
kilt.
Kathy
She'll paint anything.
the Hulk. All right.
I will make a kilt on Hulk. Hell yes. He'll be Brave Hulk.
Brave Hulk.
I do
You
like
gotta-
that a lot.
You gonna give him a big old claymore to hold over his shoulder or something, or in the other hand? Come on, Kathy.
Uh-huh.
Like, honestly, his one hand, since it's clenched, you could probably make that look like he's got a claymore in
Wait,
it.
which, yes. Yes, you could. You know the Hulk. I mean, he can wield it with one hand.
I mean, of course he can. He's the Hulk.
Yeah.
He can wield anything with one hand except Mjolnir.
That's funny.
So you can still a little tell where it was messed up, but you would never tell with him on the field that he had a hiccup there. Just still a little bit of... And I think I'm only seeing it mostly because I'm looking at it in Extremo Vision right now. This side's a little worse, actually. Trying to get some of the chunky bits off. That's better.
I'm just getting some of my darkest dark going on this crazy model. This is such a fun model too.
Since we got the paint came up, I'm going to show off the Griffin I painted. He is pretty much done.
Right on.
Simple paint scheme. I still maybe want to get a little lighter blue on his cockpit, but it's hard to do it. Well, you know, I'm doing it now. Okay, right?
Yep.
Oh, I totally missed that Legionnaire's cut. He says, wait, my girlfriend was wiped out for a month with pneumonia. Yeah, I had that a long, long time ago when I was a teenager, and it was no fun then. And Kathy, speaking of bad credit, no credit, check out the Special Man commercial on YouTube. Old furniture salesman from New Orleans.
I was thinking more of, so there's a channel I follow called the Black Pants Legion. They do video games and stuff online. I found them because Tex from the Black Pants Legion does a lot of BattleTech stuff because he loves BattleTech. And they do this Discount Dan thing, and it's nominally in the BattleTech universe, and it's hilarious where he's like, it's Discount Dan's Discount Nukes. Or, you know, Urban Mech Emporium or something silly like that. It's pretty funny.
Ours is we get the local commercials for some, bankruptcy lawyer or something. Do you have bad credit or no credit? That's just what it made me think of.
Well, it's funny, they had those commercials, and then I was working with a guy years ago at Reliance Game Distribution, and he had just never been able to get a car. Just didn't have the money for it or anything. And then he actually went to one of those guys, and like they literally financed him a car, which changed, dare say, his whole life.
That's amazing.
We laugh at him, but there are people who are just in bad shape where that is really super duper helpful for them.
Well, you just, one breakdown away from one, car breakdown away from, unemployment, and then can't pay rent and everything.
Yeah,
it happens.
One potential bad car thing from working at Taco Bell, because it's in walking distance. But hey, they're paying $16 an hour. That's not horrific.
Nope.
Not a car payment. It's not so bad. All right. What are we doing next? So I'm always sort of scattershot like these guys. I'm just a little bit here, a little bit there. Let me show up the Wolverine since I had to do some work on that. These guys still need some work done on him. Mostly with the yellow, and then we'll do some other highlights and dry brushes and stuff on the green and all. Fix up some points where stuff got where it shouldn't be. But he's actually a much tamer paint scheme than the Wolverine I have in MechWarrior Online. Which is saying something. Oh, Gonzo, I am thinking about taking my Fafnir, the giant mech, and it's got this sort of weird speckled paint job, if you remember.
Mm-hmm.
Notice it?
Yeah.
I'm thinking of getting hot pink.
That way you'll stand out on the battlefield?
Yeah, sure.
I like it. I'm for that.
Remember, Gonzo, I have 2 speeds. Forward and dead. Those are my 2 speeds. Everyone's like... One game, someone's like, I'm like, all right, guys, what's the plan? He's like, well, I'm going to follow the Fafnir because he's got ECM. I'm like, that doesn't work because I'm the Fafnir.
Reaper Clear Magenta mixed with a little bit of white is the brightest hot pink. Well, it's almost the brightest hot pink next to the hottest pink, which is another color I have.
There's an old pink from GW that is super duper bright. I forget what it's called, but my buddy Frank has it. He's still nursing an old bottle of it and loves it.
It's not one of those Slanesh colors.
Oh, it's definitely one of those. It's way back, though. It's like...
White hex cap?
1 second. What era? It's definitely from the old era. It's from the, I can't remember the name of the company, but I can't remember off the top of my head right now.
Coat Arms?
The hex bottles, like this. Like my ruby red here.
Yeah.
Yes, I still have this. Yes, it's old. And
I have an elf flesh of that.
And I can't get it open right now, but there you go. And yes, it's still liquid.
Mm-hmm.
Coat d'Arms, that's the name of the company.
Yeah.
They do a great job. I really wish it was easier to get their paint. really, really good. All right. Oh gosh, it's warm.
I keep forgetting that there's slugs on this randomly. There's randomly little slugs here and there on this model.
What model are you painting again?
It's the Death Guard
Yeah.
something blight something.
Death Guard Nurgle noun. Yeah, gotcha.
Yes. I looked it up, but you know, it could be one of a half a dozen other, a dozen other names that equal something diseased.
Yeah, something Nurgle, something blight, something.
Mm-hmm. Plague, blight, something. Plague, blight, lord. Plague, blight, boil, pustule, oozing sore.
He's
Captain.
The blight thing. I'm going with blight thing.
He's the something, blight, something.
It's like calling Stormcast or Signar stuff storm noun. Yep, it's a storm noun. I don't know what the noun is, but it's a storm noun.
Storm dude.
Also, we never even talked about the GW price increase.
Oh, well,
Oh, yeah.
we should, because do you have any examples of what's going up? I mean, not, or like, what the previous and now cost is?
No, I mean, to be fair, so here's the reality of the situation, gentlemen and ladies. It's going to happen. It has to happen once in a while. And a lot of their kits have been around for a while and have not had a price increase, even in the last time. And as things get more expensive, the models have to get more expensive too. Sorry. It's the reality of life. Is it always good? No, but it happens. You can not buy the models, or you can buy the models. I know a lot of people who are raging about it. I'm like, it's not worth raging about.
Mm-mm.
It is what it is. And as my boy Sanchez used to say when we worked at Games Workshop, we suck it up and drive on. That's all you can do. Now, does this mean you should be thinking about whether you want to get into 9th edition 40K? Well, yeah, you should be thinking about it. Because the prices are going to be a little higher on some of these things that have been around for a while. Probably in line with all the boxes they have now. Anything you thought was cheap for its price is probably going up. Is what it is. And to everyone who says, I can't believe they never lower prices, they can't lower prices. Because if they lower prices, game stores lose money, and they can't do that. Which is why, if they ever need to lower a price, and this rarely happened, they will discontinue the box, then remake it in whatever edition they want with the different price. And that very, very rarely happens because, let's be honest, things don't go down. It's not like... So the reality is, technically a lot of things after a certain point should go down because they've paid for their sprues, the initial tooling for the sprue maker many times over. But the reality is they just take that money to make new sprues. Because while those metal tools have gotten cheaper, they're still not cheap. And remember, they're only making... Well, depends. If they sell it to a game store, they're not making not making all the profits. Not counting materials and all, they're making about 50%. And then they take materials and labor and everything out of that. So you got to think about that. It's not all hunky-dory profit on their side. Business is a son of a bitch, and there's a lot of middlemen getting their money a lot of times. There's a lot of costs involved in it. So I know a lot of people were a little upset. Some people not so upset, which is cool. I appreciate it when you have a level head about this stuff, but it is a reality of the industry, and it's going to happen. So Hailboop says, a lot of the outrage he's seen had more to do with a good chunk that were raised in price at recent price increases just came out. That's true. Sometimes that happens. But, I mean, they've done a lot better than they had in the past. Certain things are a little pricier than they should be. I mean, even I balk at the prices, and I have a fair amount of disposable income. But, to be fair, I don't really play 40K that much, so it's not like a big deal. Back when my local group was having a thing, like, you should paint 1,000 points or 40K for the new army. I'm like, well, first off, I got to finish these 3 Marvel Crisis Protocol people. And that's assuming I don't get, like, Rocket, Groot, and Gamora and the rest of the Guardians of the Galaxy to go with Star-Lord, who I did just buy because he was on sale. He was, like, half price on Amazon, and I can't really pass up half price.
Dang, really?
Yeah. Well, I joked about this. Everyone was... They posted it on the group, and then someone's like, yeah, I don't want to have to wait, like, a month to get it. And I'm like, what, are you playing a game in the meantime? I mean, I hate to put
Where are you
so
going?
fine a point on it, but it ain't like you're playing a game on it anytime soon. So that's a lot better. That lighter blue one that's
Unless you're my friend who finally got all his stuff together and played with his wife, and she beat him and loves it, and they're going to be playing more.
That's awesome. And some people are playing with family. I mean, it's not all gonna be like Banyan, where I can't get him out of the basement to play a miniatures game. He's not on tonight, so I'm gonna throw all sorts of shit. It's true. Like, so the new Transformers card game set just came out. We haven't bought any because, I mean, here's my new quote-unquote rule for buying stuff. Unless you really want it for the intrinsic hobby value of it, you should not be buying stuff unless you're currently using it. Example, no one's playing Armada in our local crew, so I'm not going to buy any more Star Wars Armada, no matter how much I want one of the new ships. Unless I really just want it to look at and I've got the money, I might, but I should not be putting a lot of money into Armada because no one's playing it. If it dries up, I don't want to have more money put into it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'll do Marvel Crisis Protocol, I have all the models, it's all good. Theoretically, we'll get back to playing some of that. Consider Star Wars Legion, we were playing that a lot before we stopped, but like 40K, I haven't played 40K in a bit. The guys were all playing Age of Sigmar because 40K's broken, Age of Sigmar's better. Sure, guys, whatever. Let me know what you're playing so I know what models I should have nearby. And I have Age of Sigmar armies. I haven't bought anything for them in a while either because I haven't played them for a while, and I have pretty much all the trolls I have. I mean, heck, I got the Trogoth Hag. I bought a Forge World model for my fucking army, for Christ's sakes. But I suggest you not buy stuff you're not playing. So currently, we're not playing any Transformers TCG. We can't really have Wednesday get-together nights. We kind of could now, but we haven't been having Wednesday get-together nights. Plus, having another podcast on Wednesday nights kind of put a bullet in that pretty quick. And we're not really playing any of it, so we should not put more money into it until we're playing it again. I mean, it's just the hard thing. I mean, you may think, like, oh, I'm going to want that stuff I'm going to play. For the most part, it's going to be there. It's not like everything's going to be limited edition, you got to get it now. Maybe something is limited edition. Maybe you need something. Like, maybe if a tournament can happen locally, I go to play the tournament to get the promo cards for the set. Or maybe I just wait and find them on eBay because someone's going to put them on eBay because they always do, and just get those cards. But you don't necessarily need to put all the money into something you're not doing right at the moment. Just my 2 cents on that, keeps you from getting, I think they call it hobby debt. I don't know if it's called hobby debt.
I don't know, but I feel like if you can do that and you want to do that, whatever, that's fine.
Yeah, I'm not saying you shouldn't buy a model you want to paint. Like, when the new Primaris Marines come out, if you're like, I love that model, get that model, paint that model. You're getting that for the hobby part. But for the game part, don't buy 4 of the new AdMech tanks or flyers because you really want them if you're not currently playing it, because you're spending a lot of money on something you may not be looking at.
Yeah, with the buyer's remorse.
Yeah, I mean,
Is that what you're trying to stave off ultimately, is a little buyer's remorse?
A little buyer's remorse, a little maybe buying stuff you don't need. Maybe that money could help you get into a new hobby that people are playing, when you jump into a game and everyone's like, well, it's got a low entry fee. Yeah, low entry fee's cool, but if you already spent $200 more on 40K, maybe you ain't got that fee. Maybe you can't actually do that. So it's worth thinking about that stuff, And I know we all have a relatively fair amount of disposable income, but doesn't mean we can't be smarter about it.
No, we don't. And that's what actually keeps me from getting all of the bright, shiny things that I want.
I'm gonna switch my camera back because I am done.
Guess what? I can't afford it, so I don't buy it.
Yeah. Well, I've noticed.
I know that's like a shock for some people. They're like, "Well, what do you mean? Really?"
So yeah. So I mean, and I just switched back camera so you guys can see my cool head thing before I take it off because I am done painting for. Right, because it is super hot and the paint is drying pretty quick. I don't want to fuck with it. All right, there. Let me just move this boyo back. Turn that off. All right. Immediately cooler. But yeah, you don't want to. You don't. No, I'm saying you can't. But yeah, so like Boop says, mouthful minis I want but won't buy because no one's currently playing. So, not Brushhead Dave. We were playing Malifaux just about every Friday night, and he wouldn't buy new crews because it's just us playing, and that's fair. I can't argue with that.
Mm-hmm.
If it's just the two of us, we've got plenty of models, and honestly, we could just a quick switch to another game. And that's why I don't necessarily get into every game. Everyone's like, "Oh, Warcry." I'm like, okay, but until not Brushhead Dave or Banion or Bowie or Marshall or one of the guys starts playing it to a point where I feel like I need to actually get models for it, I'm not gonna get models for it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it doesn't help me to get models. It makes me, in fact, it unfocuses me. Like, I bought the Warhammer Underworld stuff because it's a board game, nominally speaking. It is easier to break out and play, and it's not like, I mean, actually, I got these guys for Christmas because, I mean, they're Goblin Wolf Riders. Kathy and I both have a love of Goblin Wolf Riders.
Yes.
And they look like Google Khan's Hobgoblin Wolf Boys. Which I still wish I had, but I do not.
I have 2 boxes of those somewhere in the house.
I had a bunch. At one point, I think I had bought metal bits for 120 of them.
I was going to put them in my Ogre Kingdoms army back when, you could do that.
Yeah. So, and also you don't want to be stuck like that. Like, I bought a lot of stuff when I worked at Games Workshop because I'm like, oh, I love this stuff. I'll get to it. Never got to it.
Well, they did away with, what do you call them, mercenaries.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Right after I got those, they were like, we're not doing mercenaries anymore. Like, okay, great. So I didn't have any reason to go forward with my plans for those, so they just sat in their boxes and then kind of got shuffled into oblivion.
Yeah, and I really dislike the fact they got rid of mercenaries. I was a Dogs of War player back when Dogs of War came out.
Mm-hmm.
I played Dogs of War up into the last edition they were viable and actually won games with them. People were surprised. They'd be like, what the hell is going on here? I'm like, hey, they're still got good stuff.
I so thought the Wolf Riders were just fit in so well with my
it was such
my
a good
Ogre
game
Kingdom.
for them, too. You know, it's like, rather than just being, oh, they're goblins on wolves, cool. No. They're Mongol goblins on wolves. That's super duper awesome. And sometimes that's what you need. But it's all good. But the point is, be careful what you buy and don't buy everything just because you need it. Think about your purchases. We can all snap judgment purchase stuff. Like, example, I said earlier, I just bought Cliff Jumper, another Transformer. He's been out for a couple months now. He was on my Amazon list for a while. I finally said, you know what? I think I haven't bought one in a while. I want another Transformer. And they just came up with a cool sticker kit I might pick up for him. I don't want to get too crazy. You don't want to get too crazy in any of your hobbies, so you gotta pace yourself. I mean, Gonzo could tell you we could easily spend a ton of money on MechWarrior Online buying just cool stuff.
No shit. There's so much stuff in that game.
And you're like, well, I could buy it, but I'm like, no, I don't need that. So it's all good. Just try and be careful with your hobby purchases. I mean, I've noticed with the games, not going to the game store and buying a lot of, I mean, I'll be honest, extra stuff I don't necessarily need. My expenditures have gone down enough that I take a day off every week, and my bank account's still going up. That's strange to me.
Nice.
So, it just shows that I may have been going a little nuts on stuff finally to buy all this stuff. I'm going to have models everywhere. everywhere. I don't need all these models. I don't need all this stuff. I mean, like, oh, John, what are you going to do if you have to keep going and the game store's open now? What if the game store stays closed? I'm like, well, then I put together that box of models sitting there, or maybe that box of models next to it. That's just on my fucking desk. Finish these guys, finish painting that guy. Can paint these guys over here. Oh, how about over there, that 40K box of the Council of Unade, the 3 Eldar models? I could put together and paint that. Shit, there's a whole tray of models up there I could paint. There's like 10
No
paper
shortage.
cases. Yeah, there's no shortage. Literally.
No.
The only thing I have to worry about is paint supplies. And I don't need all that, you know? I could paint. I could finish painting my knights. I could finish painting my Troggoths. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff. So it's just be careful, guys. I mean, we have this. I have this habit, and some people do also, of going all in on a game. If you guys can't tell by me talking about MechWarrior Online a lot, I go all in on a game, and I have to rein myself in. It's why I've avoided something easily grindable like an MMO.
Oh yeah. You and I talked about that.
You could do yourself. Like honestly, I still need to wait for people to be around, and I have much more fun with people in MechWarrior Online. But you literally, a regular MMO, you can just do stuff by yourself and forget about it. Forget about it. So, well, there you go. That's me, my little hobby rant.
John's hobby rant.
Well, you know, I'm just trying to give some advice to people who, you know, it sometimes it's hard to see. You don't really think that you're being that crazy. But I realized since I'm almost done with Marvel Crisis Protocol, I actually made sure I was careful and didn't just buy all the models as they came out. Like, sure, there's models I want. I want to get Black Panther and Killmonger because I primarily play with the Cabal or Avengers, and then one of them's the Cabal, one of them's Avengers. I got Vision and Winter Soldier because I wanted Winter Soldier because he's a free agent. He plays with anyone, so it gives you a much more easily balanced list, let's say. You can easily flip your list one way or the other. So, you know, I think about that. I don't just buy them all, you know. There are people like somebody I know who's just like, man, I bought this model and this model. I got all these models I gotta paint with stuff for Marvel Crisis Protocol. There's so much money to get all these models. I'm talking about you, Gonzo.
No, you're not.
I knew it wasn't me.
Yeah, there are people online who really complain about how many, like, oh, I can't believe you're going all these models. Like, hey, you don't buy them all.
No,
You own all of them.
No, I've
They're not Pokemon.
No, the stuff that I've bought. I think I've bought everything, all the models, but I did the same thing. I was like, do I really need to buy everything? No, I'm going to buy what I want to play or, you know, test or, you know, whatever. And Guardian of the Galaxy was like, yeah, I wanted Black Panther. So I was like, okay, it's just one more box. And I was like, damn it. But some of the stuff that's coming out now, I'm not as interested in.
Which stuff is that?
Thanos' army, whatever their group is called. I don't know if they had a name.
I don't remember that.
I don't remember what they're called. Banyan, where are you? You fucking know. They're your favorite boys.
Yeah, and I'll get Thanos because that's going to be a cool looking model, but that's...
Yeah, plus there's gonna be a everyone versus Thanos
raid.
Thing. A raid, let's call it a raid. That's a good way of putting it. And it's gonna be cool.
Yeah, so I mean that one, like I'll get a Thanos because that's just badass. Because there's not two versions, but you know there's the Gauntlet and non-Gauntlet version.
Yeah, and like you, I don't care about his dudes.
I don't either.
In the comics, they were really underdeveloped bad guys in the movies, which is fine because it wasn't about them. That's actually probably what they should have been. You don't need development. They're just there to beat up on the heroes and get beat up. I think that part was done well, but people love them and they'll get them, and then some of us who don't. I'm happy to get another Black Widow and Hawkeye.
Yeah.
Do you know what time it is?
Is it media section
I don't know
time?
what time it is.
I was gonna say it's time to do our Tectonic Craft Studios giveaway.
Is it time for our TikTok question? If you are in the chat room and you would like to be on this giveaway, please just say something nice like an X or Gonzo is a
Wait,
weirdo.
there's a giveaway?
Yes.
Giveaway.
Wait,
Or
what are
say
you
here.
giving away?
Present.
Present.
Or present.
Present. Give me a
You're
second.
not doing the exclamation point something something and letting the magic of the bot.
No.
No, because that's just too much of an issue. I can just say whoever's in there can do it. Tonight we're going to give away, Tectonic Crush Studios, we're giving away a Steam track objective marker. I painted one of those up on stream. And
That's cool.
And I'm gonna move that over there. It's like a rubble patch and a millimeter bases, 32 millimeter insert bases. Looks like he's got it called Crowns. And the Hulk plate is what he's got it is. So we'll give away these 3.
So the cool thing about that steampunk objective too is that if you don't want to use it as an objective, it can actually use to keep track of victory points or command points or something like that.
Yeah, anything. I mean, it goes up to 15. So.
Which is higher than 11.
That's true.
This is just a little rubble patch that you build and put in, and then of course these are. They look like
base
metal.
toppers.
Yeah, they're base toppers. It looks like it's like riveted metal or something. I don't know.
They're 32. They're probably for 40K. So
Yeah.
they're really cool actually.
Yeah.
So guys, if you're in the chat room, let us know. I mean, Hailboot's here because I can tell he's posting every couple seconds. He likes proximity. So a lot of those models look cool, Hailboot, but I have no emotional attachment to them, so I do not need to purchase them. You know, I am surprising to say beyond the point where I look just at the rules of a model and it's like I'll buy it because it's got good rules. I'll say this now since we're media section, this is kind of media. I do not buy certain mechs in BattleTech and MechWarrior Online because they're ugly. I will look at a loadout and go like, that's too ugly, I can't play that. I will never see this part of the mech except when I'm on one screen. But if it's too ugly, I can't handle it.
Okay. I did get most of Groot done while we were doing this.
Yeah, I saw that. He's looking good. That's the contrast brown.
Yes. It's a lot darker than what is on screen. I can tell that right now.
Is it the snakebite leather?
I believe it was the snakebite leather. It's gonna get one more wash on it, but that's about it. So he came out pretty decent. All right, let me switch over. We'll get to the media section over here. As everybody moves around. Kathy, did you get much done?
Sure.
Cool. John's over there typing away frantically.
Sorry, Boop asked a question that's better answered in the text than on the stream.
Oh, how the team building works.
Yes.
Yeah, well, I was trying to watch, FYI, I was trying to watch the chat on my phone. That didn't work very well. It's not big enough.
So far, by process of elimination, that means that Hailboop is going to get the prize because he is the only one who has commented. Which is fine if the rest of you do not wish to be put in for the prize.
All right.
Let's say we'll give it to about 9:15 or so, and then we'll go through and see if anyone else has posted that they're here or they're interested, or
A lot of people just listen.
Gonzo, or what have you.
Yes, Hellboop. The best way, team building is you just pretty much pick 10 models.
I should move my camera over.
But those 10 models, you should also know, need to be all differing varying points levels.
Yes. You can't just pick the Hulk and MODOK and all the Thor and all the big power guys. You want the Black Widows and the Crossbones and the lower cost guys, so you've got some variability. There's a lot more to it than you think. There's once you start looking at the various point values that are available, there's a lot of tactics in choosing the right people so you can fill the points. And then the Infinity Stones, the Infinity Gems,
you can add those to certain people, so that changes the game again too, because they think they cost a point.
They cost they cost a model slot.
And
So-
they cost a point when you put them on, I think. A threat, sorry.
Oh yeah.
In any case, Gonzo, I'm sure you watched like 14 things.
Let me check my phone
You said
because
you were having trouble figuring it out, so it's not too many.
yeah, no, it wasn't a lot this week. I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but some of them are kind of small, and one of them's a rewatch.
I did one, and I did that today.
Kathy, I heard you had a list of how many things you watched this week.
I 3.
That's like your highest number ever.
Yeah, and it was all today.
We did sit on the couch and eat cookies, so that goes.
I was cookies and movies because, god damn it.
Well, Kathy, I feel like you have to lead off if you have 3.
Yes.
Let me switch my camera over here.
Oh, you can see your
So
face.
everybody can see my my visored visage.
Well, they saw mine earlier, so now it's your turn.
Camera switch.
Okay. That should work, right?
There you go. Yep.
Work?
Yay.
Excellent.
Yay!
Excellent.
So, I wrote it down. I had to write it down because these were so. You know, it's been weird this week, and today was just the. I just need to just tune out. I just need to
Not
tune out
reality.
today. So it
Not
was.
reality today.
I made peanut butter cookies yesterday. Today I ate peanut butter cookies and watched movies. I didn't want to binge watch a show. I just wanted some one-off. Here's a movie. And all the movies that I already was familiar with, I was like, I'm not really in the mood for that. I know how that goes. No, that's too whatever. So I ended up watching movies I had never heard of before. And the first one was called Under the Eiffel Tower, which takes place, of course, in Copenhagen. I mean, Paris. I mean, France. Obviously, because Eiffel Tower, right? It's an independent film. And of course, it's a romantic comedy. And because I was looking for something just fluffy and stupid. And the main guy of this, I feel like they made him almost too much of a buffoon. Like they want to do sometimes with guys. They just want him to, I don't know, seem soft and dorky or whatever. I don't know, but he just was a little too much of a buffoon, a clown, mostly. But there were other times where he's, like a normal person. It was fun and light, and it was not the best movie I've ever seen, let's say.
Does it carry your 3.5 rating or 2.5 rating also?
Yeah.
It'll pass
Maybe
the time.
3. Maybe 3.
Maybe 3.
It's, oh my god, you guys, I saw Beastmaster in my list of ones and I was just this close. I was this close to watching Beastmaster.
I looked over at the DVD that had Beastmaster in it. I chose to watch something else.
I also chose to watch something else. So after that show was done, I ate lunch. And then I was going through, and I ran across this one called Go With Le Flow, which is a German romantic comedy. And the main character is this guy, hey, Orcris Gaming. Howdy. So the main character is this guy who's half French, half German. When he was a kid, in his formative years, his dad took him to the cinema and they watched a French film fest. So his type, is he likes French women. He keeps falling in love with these French women, and then he sabotages himself. Because, spoiler, he's actually in love with the girl that he's been best friends with for a million years.
Oh, I would never see that plot coming.
Right.
Never see that plot coming.
And this guy is also, you know, a buffoon to the almost to the Mr. Bean level of buffoon. And that was, like, at times he was okay. He was normal. And other times I was like, I don't like Mr. Bean, and this is really, it's not working for me. So this is another one that's free. So these are two romantic comedies with a buffoon for a main guy. They got him too cartoony. And so that was it. And so I'm looking through, it's dinner, you know. And I look through the list, and I find this show called This Beautiful Fantastic. And it's a British show. And I loved it. Oh my God, I loved it. And at the end, I bawled my eyes out. I might have been sensitive already to that today. But it was about this girl who, you know, like Moses, shows up in a basket and is an orphan, and she's really OCD, and she's working through things. She's got a job at the library. She has her ritual of stuff that she does, and until her neighbor complains about her unruly garden. You know, we've all had, you know, the neighbor who complains about your lawn like that. And it just, stuff happens, and she changes and she grows in a really beautiful way. And it's just the whole thing, to me, was fun. And then there was all this stuff about gardening and stuff, and I like plants and gardening. So it just, it really, like, tugged at my heartstrings, and it was art.
Sorry.
So,
Sounds like you enjoyed it.
I give it 0 space for please, because there was not one time where I was like, oh, that character is too whatever.
Fair enough.
Really well done. So that one was called This Beautiful Fantastic.
Fair enough.
2016. Oh, that's all mine. I'm sorry. I should have, like, that's
No,
what I did.
That's all good. We're actually going to do our giveaway now, since it's that point. Gonzo, we only had 3 people post in the chat room since that, and I've reminded them multiple times. So
Okay. Who is it?
it's Hail Boop, Orcris Gaming, and Banyan.
Hooray! Are you rolling off?
Hold on. And wait, no.
Suspense.
Workers gave me yay.
All right, John, roll me a D3.
I don't have dice near me.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, come on, I have dice.
Okay, roll me a dice, Kathy.
I mean, come on.
And then I can show you my freaking awesome dice bag that my friend made for me for Christmas.
I got poker chips. I got a dice. Oh, hold on.
A D3, huh?
Yeah, who's going to get the D3 quicker?
And who's gonna make more noise doing it? Me.
One.
1. Hell boop.
Hail boop! Congrats.
Hell boop.
The
I do have
cat
dice.
butt. I'm sorry, wrong camera. It's the cat butt, which is number 1, the lowest on the D6.
Make sure you send and give us your address, either through here or whatever, and we'll get that product to you as soon as possible. Of course, delivery times may change, because of everything's going on. I see that every time I order something.
My sweet Nurgle dice bag.
Well, that is pretty sweet.
Custom stitched, custom tooled.
I feel like you need to actually use the nerd voice and push your glasses up when you say that. It's a custom stitch and custom tool, just for me.
This is my it's armored wolf. They actually they're from Alaska. But yeah, they make them. They make custom ones in case you like.
Are they on Etsy?
Yes, they are on Etsy.
Check them out on Etsy, guys. That's a really good dice bag. I might take a look at them later when I need dice bags again.
I guess I can go with one of mine, huh?
Let me get my one done, then you can take us home.
Oh no! I like splitting it off. So I decided to try to watch Space Force on Netflix. It is. I think it just came out. The Steve Carell TV show.
No, apparently you either love it or hate it because I've heard some good things and some bad things.
I'm like 3 episodes in, and I'm like, I think I laughed once, and it just drags. You're just like, yeah, we get this joke. We've seen it before somewhere else, I'm sure.
I'm going to try and watch it, though.
Yeah, try watching it. I mean, it wasn't that it wasn't entertaining. It's just all predictable, and it feels like really rushed. I guess is the best way to put it.
Comedy is not good comedy.
Yeah, it really... It feels like it was rushed just to put it out there, and they didn't worry about whether the plot or the characters or anything was funny. So
well, I think they needed to hit while it was still socially relevant. And
correct.
You'll get more out of it being socially relevant than it being good. As much as I hate to say that, because there are people who aren't going to watch Steve Carell ever because they've never seen anything good with Steve Carell in it. Raising hand. I mean, I've seen a couple clips he's funny in, but I don't think he can be funny for an entire series worth for me to actually feel like I can spend my limited amount of TV time on that.
Well, it's. I'll give it a few things just because I want to see it and whatever, but it'll be background noise.
Oh,
because
background noise, it might as well not be on. I might just listen to music or podcast.
So I might do that. I don't know. And then I watched another season of Magic for Humans came out, which is about a street guy doing magic tricks. And he's usually pretty good comedy, or he's got some good social stuff behind it. This season just kind of fell flat. There was some of the tricks were just like, yeah, and we've seen that 90 million times. And I wasn't. It gives me another mad rating for me, 2.5 space therapies. But I mean, it just wasn't good. I was like, I think it's time to start looking at better tricks and stuff. So, just didn't care for it too much. John, go ahead.
I don't know. I'm gonna try and watch it, and then we'll see.
Since I realized that I hadn't watched anything all week, I decided to spend some time eating my lunch and watch a movie because apparently watching an episode of Clone Wars season 2 every day is sapping my will to watch TV. It's getting better, and it's not like terrible. I don't want anyone to think it's terrible. I'll give you guys a full review eventually, but I'm waiting for the good part. It's a thing. Everyone's hyped it up so much. It is not hype yet. So I mean, it's sapping his will to live. Yeah, he comes in and watches some of them too, or watches parts of them, and they're just not done well. They're making a lot of mistakes, but. So I wanted something nice and easy to watch or something new. So I checked Amazon Prime real quick, and there's Hotel Artemis that seemed interesting. But since apparently Amazon Prime was having a problem loading it, I instead went to my DVD rack and pulled off Iron Monkey and watched that instead. And so to put a little extra in here, I am not necessarily the biggest fan of Quentin Tarantino as a director. He has some stuff that I think is very good. I don't think he's got a quality problem. It's just not all for me. And I don't really necessarily like all of his movies. I think he is horribly, horribly overrated. But I think he is groundbreaking in his dialogue and what he did to make U.S. cinema more aware of international films that hadn't been. And I bring that up because he is the reason this movie got released in the U.S. because it's one of his favorites. He's like
the one who brought it to the U.S. and got it released. And I think that is what his end greatest contribution to cinema is him knowing all of other cinema and bringing it to the U.S. So Iron Monkey is pretty much a Donnie Yen movie. It's Donnie Yen and some other people you won't notice because it's a Hong Kong film, and it is basically set in, sort of Middle Ages China, where there's bandits roaming the countryside, so people flee to the cities, and there are cities with governors who are taking advantage of them, because they're like, oh, refugees, you'll work for nothing, we'll hoard the food, we'll get rich off of you. God, that sounds a little too topical nowadays. Let me continue on real quick. But they have a champion, the Iron Monkey, who goes around and fights the governor and his guards and gives the people food. He's basically Robin Hood. He's Chinese Robin Hood. Rob from the rich, give to the poor. And it ends up being just a good martial arts romp. It's fairly lighthearted for the most thing. There's a couple things that are a little odd, but I think that's culturally different. A couple rapey scenes that are a little rough. You would like to go away, but they're there and they can't. But that it's pretty good action, fun. It's definitely wire fu, but it's great. And Donnie Yen's great in it. He's got a lot of charisma. All the leads have good charisma. The cast is good. You like people you're supposed to like. You love to hate people you love to hate. And it's just fun. It's a fun martial arts romp. It's definitely a modern take on sort of the old Chopsaki flick that we used to love and Kung Fu theater on Saturdays or whatever. And I enjoy the fuck out of it. And I suggest you guys take a look at it. It is a great time. Really enjoyable. Good to see Donnie Yen in his youth, so to speak, fighting. And like I said, just enjoyable. It's Robin Hood. It's basically Chinese Robin Hood. That's the basic thought of it. The other funny thing is that you have Donnie Yen playing Wong Kei-ying, the father of Wong Fei-hung, who is a mythical Chinese. I don't like to say mythical. He's a real Chinese person who helped fight off. Who helped help fight a corrupt dynasty. He's an actual historical figure, but I think he's just sort of blown out of proportion like a lot of people. But more funny about that is that apparently Donnie Yen played Wong Fei-hung in other movies. So he's playing the father of the person he used to play. He played in other movies, which is kind of interesting to say the least. But I'm going to give it one space herpy just because there are a couple scenes like a little rough. Not everyone's going to love the fact you have to watch with subtitles because it's in a foreign language, and it is a tiny bit short. It feels kind of episodic, but it's good, solid episodes. Nothing overstays its welcome. It's just a great time. So there you go.
I guess. I started watching a new anime show, and it's called BEM. I'm only like an episode or two in. So far, it's not my taste. I tried it, and it was something's just not right about it. But I'm gonna hold off on that. So I am watching a new anime, and I've got like another one lined up. So prepare for that. Just like y'all, I needed to find something that will numb my brain, make me laugh, say "ooh, cool," all that type of stuff. Just kind of get me going. And perusing around, and saw that Big Trouble in Little China was on. I was gonna, and I'm like, that's like one of my ultimate, Yep, if that's on, I'm watching it. One of the top movies that if it's there, I'm gonna watch it.
Wait, you don't own it?
I think I do, but I was just trying to find something, and I was like, yep, gonna go with it.
Sometimes you do. Movie you own, you find there, like that is what I want to watch, and I'm gonna click this button rather than going over the shelf and putting it in the DVD player.
Yeah, and because it made me laugh because I recently had a conversation with someone I'm playing with online, and we were communicating through the PlayStation Network, and one of the characters named in the by someone else was Pork Chop Express. And I was like, okay, their character's name is Pork Chop Express. That's pretty funny. And this person I was playing goes, yeah, that's a pretty funny name. And I was like, yeah, Jack Burton. And she goes, who? What? And I went, what? and she actually was like,
I can't know you anymore.
she didn't know what Big Trouble in Little China was. So I'm like, all right, you're logging off, and you're
world waiting for that young lady that she's going to enjoy.
I haven't talked to her to see if she's done it or not, but this movie is there. There is a lot of nostalgia with this movie, but it's good because there's so many great lines. There's just so much great comedic acting. It's just everything.
It is an underrated movie. It's sort of like a distorted mirror of like Pulp Fiction. I was talking about Tarantino because the dialogue is very witty, but it's all very much a PG rather than a Quentin Tarantino R. So it's sort of like a distorted mirror of it. It's one of John Carpenter's best, and he's actually done some really good movies.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know why people think it's underrated. It reminds me of like the Princess Bride type. It was that quiet movie that nobody really watched. Yeah,
everyone loves it. You talk to people like, I don't know what that is. Like, how do you not know what that is? But then you realize, okay, maybe they don't know what it is.
Yeah, because it is an older movie, but I mean, there's just so much good to it. You know, everything about this movie just makes me smile, and you know, I get happy, and I quote it and start saying shit, and it's just amazing.
There's no bad part to this movie.
No.
At no point does the content get a little squicky. Does it get? I mean, it's all just there. Like, it's like weird, Chinese themed adventure movie.
Yeah. It was just great. I mean, zero space harpies, of course, because you can't count on that. But I mean,
negative numbers. I'd give it a negative. It's so good, it makes other movies more watchable.
It's its own vaccine.
Yeah.
No, it's such a like. There are some movies that if it's on or I see it's running or it's about to come on or I haven't watched in a while. Big Trouble in Little China. What is it? It's like Sandlot's one of them that I love to rewatch. It's not high on the list. Fifth Element. That's just one I'm just like, yep, I got to start watching it type thing.
It still boggles my mind thinking of Fifth Element that how that movie is actually as enjoyable as it is.
Yeah.
It is all the earmarks of being fucking terrible.
Yes.
And you're watching like this is
so
just
brilliant.
a good time.
It
Yep.
is. I was this close to watching that one today too. It would have been a good choice.
I almost watched The 13th Warrior, but I watched that recently because someone posted. I think Tim Simpson posted it on Facebook, and I'm like, man, I love that movie.
Yes.
I haven't seen it in years and years.
It's underrated as hell. It did not do well in the theater. It was.
No, it's
great.
It's a great movie. That's what I don't understand about that one. I recently saw an article of how the 13th Warrior got like Norse life correct type thing.
Yeah, I mean. It's one of those things where it just the budget somehow ballooned out of control and it didn't make enough money and just random reasons it didn't hit. Sometimes great movies don't hit well.
Yeah, that one was a sleeper for me. I have to admit I haven't seen that one in forever either. So, let's see what else. I did watch something because yeah, we all agree with that. That Fifth Element and 13th Warrior are faves.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and it's a lot of that. You guys need to make sure when you have a fave like that's like an underrated, underappreciated, underseen fave. Let all your friends know about it. They may not have seen it. You may get their next favorite movie.
Yeah. Oh, which before I can hold off on this one so we don't have a lot of time left. That they're doing a sequel to Labyrinth.
Yeah, I heard that.
Hear that? Yeah.
I don't know how. Don't get me wrong. It could be a great and wonderful movie. You're always saying in the back of your head, please don't fuck it up. But we all know.
I'm looking at my wrist for the time. It may be a little late. I mean, Bowie's kind of dead, unfortunately. My God's kind of dead. I mean, what are we doing now?
Yeah, I'm like, why are we doing this?
Like, see Jennifer Connelly come back. She doesn't get enough work. She's maybe by choice. I don't know. It's hard to tell if it's by choice or by randomness, but she doesn't get a ton of work.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just not there for it. I hope it does good. I hope they have a great story, but trying to relive that is kind of hard. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it's ever gonna do good.
It could.
It would be cool if it just went in a totally unexpected direction instead of a rehash of the old one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't do like I mean, I hate to. We just sung his praises, but let's talk a little bit about his failings. I don't want it to be like an Escape from L.A. to Escape from New York thing, where you just basically did the same movie with different
Yeah.
beats in it. So
But-
I mean, let's not have that. Do something different. Do something interesting. I mean, it's like the remake of Big Trouble in Little China they were talking about, starring The Rock. Do I think it's necessary? God, no. Do I think it might be amusing? It's The Rock, so yeah.
So I saw that and I was like, oh, okay, you're gonna do it whether we want it or not.
It could really suck, or it
Oh,
could be
God, I
amazing.
gotta watch Dune. I just need to get the time.
The
I
thing we
look
all
at
need.
that, I'm like, oh, that. Since I got a 4-pack, it's Flash Gordon, The Last Starfighter,
Oh,
Dune, and the Battlestar Galactica
Oh,
original series
speaking of-
movie on it. And I'm like, I should watch Dune. And I'm looking at the clock. I'm like, I ain't really got time for that.
There's a there's somebody out there, and I don't remember the YouTube channel, but they're doing these reunion things, these like pandemic reunion things, and episode 4 of it is the Lord of the Zoom. It's the Lord of the Rings cast.
oh yeah, I heard about that.
Fellowship, and I'm gonna watch that when we finish this. Jim and I are gonna put it up on the TV and watch it, because I watched the first about 10 minutes of it and I was dying.
Those guys are all great. I mean, some of them still get work, some of them don't. I wish. I'd like to see Viggo Mortensen in more stuff. But I mean, he's fucking great.
He's a good actor.
I mean, I don't know if you ever saw the movie Hidalgo. He carried that movie pretty much. He made that movie. I'm like, I'm not sure he was interested, but I like Viggo Mortensen. I ended up loving the movie mostly because of him.
Yeah. So let's see. What are y'all doing next week? Anything in particular?
Well, I mean, it's still COVID virus time, so no.
Next
I'm gonna
week,
have off
I'm gonna
Monday,
be
and then I'm gonna work
streaming-
4 days,
yeah.
and then the weekend comes around.
Streaming painting.
I am going to be streaming a game of Judgment.
This
Hopefully
Dr.
not,
Pepper
moving.
soda with Kraken's actually not terrible. It's actually better than either one separately.
Excellent. I was curious how that was going to play out.
It's not bad.
I finished all my
It's like a
water.
slice of pizza, but
I want pizza.
I'm about to have more pizza.
I had pizza today too, so.
Legionnaires is going to the field to shut up assessments. I don't know what that means.
Legionnaires like, oh.
Sometimes you use your outside voice you didn't mean to. I have this problem at work. I work in a call center, and I curse like a fucking sailor. I don't do it ever on the phone, and I'm very good about controlling it when anyone around me is on the phone. It's just easy right now because there's not people around me, but I'd apologize to people who are coming back in for our wave 1 of people coming back in, because, like, I'm sorry I curse like a sailor. It just fucking happens. Sometimes this job makes me need to curse. Then I feel better.
It's letting off steam.
Yep.
All right, guys, that's episode 124, I believe.
Yes.
Episode number.
Episode number 124. Guys, please be safe out there. Please take care of each other.
Gonzo's still speaking.
Please be nice.
Yes. Be safe. Be careful. It's crazy, crazy times out there.
Please tell somebody
Do what you
love
gotta
them.
do.
Everybody, take care of yourself. Good night.